Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Jump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
What?
Flippin' heck! There's so many things happening.
Oh my gosh.
Ben and Peter are back. Dick and Brian, they're gone.
They're gone.
Get out of here. We're in the podcast studio again.
If you're watching on YouTube, it's real, look.
Wow.
Listen, that's me tapping.
That says triple
That's me leaving
jump.
greasy
I
fingerprints
use
all
my
over the
fingernails,
screen.
not my greasy palm.
They're really greasy.
Just like that. And
Speaking of greasy palm,
we're joined by Ashton Matthews, our brand new presenter, our third jump. Hi, Ashton.
Hello. This is exciting, isn't it?
How you doing?
I'm good. This is my first podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So if I do bad things, just don't tell me. That's okay.
Don't
Okay.
tell you.
If
We'll
you
just-
tell me, I will accuse you of mansplaining how to do a
Okay.
podcast
Well,
Well,
to me.
that's
so
fine.
That's
I mean,
absolutely
it's just
fine, yeah.
YouTube comments.
I'm going to
and
use
stuff,
it
whatever.
to my advantage that I am a woman. And I will inform you that you are mansplaining at any
Anything.
given opportunity when you're saying something that,
That
I
is your
don't like.
prerogative,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of insight that we hired you for, to keep us on our toes. For too long, Peter and I have just been white boys, just coasting, and now we need someone to call us on our nonsense.
A
all the
white
time.
girl.
A white girl.
A white girl. I don't know what to do with my arm. Like, I want to put it here, but there's just not enough real... Peter, I'm moving in.
Okay, please do.
I'm coming in.
If you are watching or listening at home, you must be doing one of the two. I don't know which. You may or may not have seen Ashton's main reveal, which is out on the channel already.
Yes.
YouTube.com/Team TripleJump. So, some people sometimes listen to the podcast before they catch up on their YouTubes and things. So you might be like, a bit of a way to just drop someone in like that, but we have done a full-on welcome and reveal.
Yeah. This is technically Ashton's fourth day.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we've been in the office for a couple of days shooting stuff. We'll talk about it a bit more at the end,
We will.
what to expect over the coming weeks. But Ashton is only with us for a brief time currently. She's going to go away for a couple of weeks, and then she'll be back, and we'll be able to make full-time content all together, or at least that's the plan. Now, before we get on with the show, we are sponsored each and every week by a very real video game-related sponsor.
Of course.
And I have the ad read here.
Great.
Now, are you ready?
Is it Rubicon?
It's not Rubicon, but I would appreciate it if you could at least face the logo at the camera. So if
I was just going
Rubicon,
to cover it completely with my hand.
if Rubicon did want to sponsor us, then they could. Well, I mean, look at the state of this really nice podcast desk already. You're not going to. Just spill it. Just pour it all over the
I might
desk.
move it
That's
out.
fine.
I don't
Frame.
want to leave little rings,
It's
Well,
too.
no,
I
it's
mean,
fine.
look at it.
I've been putting
Look
it
at
on
the
my
state.
slightly worse table that's just next.
Yes, your
It's
lower
out of
table.
frame.
My lower
Your
table.
lower
I might
table.
move it out of frame and then bring up a bottle of water and say, drink low.
Delicious.
Low.
Buxton. Love it. So this week's sponsor is Stardew Rally.
Oh.
It's a spin-off of Stardew Valley, right?
Right.
But it's a kart racer, and you race against the various other people from Pelican. Is it Pelican Town?
Yes,
You
it's
know,
Pelican
you-
Town,
Yeah, you know. Okay, Pelican Town, and but you obviously, because it's Stardew Valley, you don't really know their name, so it's like, oh, it's the one with the purple hair. There's the guy with the moustache. There's the general store guy, and that's what their names are in the game. It's just general store
Right,
guy.
So it's not like Abigail or Pierre
Who?
or anything.
What are you?
I don't know what
Purple-haired
that.
woman.
Excuse me?
Thank you.
Blonde
exactly.
woman.
Yeah,
That
blonde
man what lives in
woman.
the woods.
That doctor one.
The one that sells you chickens,
The
who's
kids,
never home.
The little kids.
The little kids. There's the guy who's always rude to you on the bridge because he's like a brooding teenager.
Yeah.
That's his full name.
I
It's
was,
all hyphenated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
in my version of the game, he'd be called Sexy Man with Long Hair.
Oh.
Okay, well, I mean, this game
do
is
we get
real.
Do we get to input the names of the...
No.
No.
This is the creator's
Oh,
vision.
they've said he's the brooding, angsty one that's rude to you on the bridge.
Rude to you on the bridge, yeah.
Right.
I mean, at least that was my experience with him. It was all
Okay.
on the bridge.
I've
so-
got one question.
Yeah.
Does it feature a racer called Little Ball of Jelly from In the Mine?
No, but that will be DLC.
Ah,
Day one DLC.
Cool.
Not going to get away with that. So that is coming really soon, but it's not because it's not real.
Oh,
It's not a
Oh.
real sponsor. Sorry.
what?
It's actually.
Well, I mean, they made
fake
some
as hell.
errors with the names anyway, so I'm not too upset about
okay.
it.
I think it was actually pretty accurate. If you go, if you just read the wiki, Ashton, then I think you'd see quite how silly you sound.
Okay.
Stop
Okay.
mansplaining.
Stop mansplaining to me.
No, of course, we are sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. where for as little as $1 per month, you can ask questions on this podcast. We answer them here. There's a few. I'm looking at them right now. There's a few questions right here. And we also have other tiers available, lots of other stuff, worst games early, all sorts of things. So go check it out, patreon.com/Team Triple Jump. Now, for the first time in over a year and a half, I don't have to ask you where we're walking in the video version of this podcast.
No.
Next week I will,
Yeah.
because we're going back to working from home for 1 week, and then we're back in the office full time. But I digress.
It's a soft start.
It's a soft launch, a soft relaunch of us being in the podcast studio. Peter, what are we going to look at and learn about right now, though?
We're going to learn about a sort of real sponsor, TripleJump.gg.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Lovely. Well, it's time for question one. This is from Michael Milan, I think.
Yeah.
Malan.
Matt, he's asked questions before.
It's like Milan, but with an A.
That is
Our
that's
favourite
true.
Michael.
Yeah, one of our favorite. There's two Michaels who've asked questions in this.
They're both our favourite
They're
Michael.
both our favourite Michael
Okay, well, it says, welcome back, Ben and Peter.
and Ashton.
Wow,
Michael
Michael.
didn't know Ashton was going
Wow,
to
Michael.
I want to know what your first memories are of video games. Not necessarily the first games you played, but your first memories. For me, I remember peeking over my dad's shoulder as he played the original Warcraft, Orcs and Humans before I even touched a Nintendo, and it really left an impression on me.
Isn't that nice?
It may come as no surprise to Ben, but perhaps to Ashton, if she's not a long-time podcast listener, that my answer revolves mainly about trademarked mythical character Peter's gamer uncle, who introduced me to the world of gaming. I have many fond memories from probably as early as being about 4 years old or 5, going round to his house because he lived next door, and watching him on, I think exclusively it was PS1. He did have Sega consoles before that, but I don't remember those. So he played Death Trap Dungeon, which was based on an Ian Livingstone book of the same name, a choose your own adventure book where you like turn to page 30 to give yourself goosebumps.
Okay.
Those books
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah. Also, Command and Conquer, he used to have his friends round for a System Link game.
Oh.
So there would be 2 CRTs.
That's nerdy, and in the 90s, that is just nerdy to the nth degree.
Isn't it just?
I don't think I was born then. I don't know
No.
what you're talking about.
Right. So you would have a PS1 with a big chunky CRT TV, like a big old one.
Right, yeah.
And then your friend would also bring round their PS1 and also a TV, or maybe that you'd have a spare TV at your house.
Okay.
And you would use a link cable to plug the 2 PS1s into each other,
Yeah.
so that you could play multiplayer on Command and Conquer.
Wow, that's pretty cool, actually.
The nerdiness is exemplified by how inconvenient it was.
Yeah.
The amount of effort you
To
had
lug
to go
around
to
that telly.
to do that.
Yeah.
Well, the best part is that so Command and Conquer, it's that RTS game with tanks and soldiers and things, and apparently he said that they used to play all night. Like they'd start at like 9 or 10 and maybe have 2 games, and play into the early hours of the morning. And by the very end, when they both built a large enough base and so many units all over the map, the frame rate would be about 1 frame per second. Like you would just see each vehicle pop its way along.
So this was the console version of
It was.
of Command and Conquer, right?
Yeah,
So even
on PS1.
even less stable than the PC
Good.
one.
And I remember seeing them set up for that at 8 p.m. or something, and then I'd go to bed. But he tells me about how bad it used to get by the time they got to the end of the game. I played Duke Nukem Time to Kill pretty early on in my life.
Sounds appropriate.
At his flat, yeah, where you can really just completely gib each other's characters into mush with the rocket launcher, just a smear left on the ground.
Lovely.
Didn't play the campaign, fortunately, because that features scantily clad women, and that would not be appropriate.
No, that would be disgusting.
Not for an 8-year-old
right?
anyway.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but that's it for the most part. And I suppose the earliest memory I have for myself, rather than at his place, is the demo on
Yeah.
PS1. Specifically, Tomeby 1 was on that.
Flipping Tomeby.
Yeah, you could play a lot of that game on that demo as well, if I recall correctly.
Demo discs are great.
Yeah.
Well, they were.
Pretty good.
Anyway, and then they're flipping gone, aren't they?
Ashton, it's time for your answer.
Thanks. Well, I didn't really have anyone who played games when I was little, so mine is my first like vivid memory of playing a game. It's not necessarily a hugely positive one, but we'll get to that.
God.
So I had a pink Game Boy Advanced because pink is
Nice.
the colour for girls.
Yes.
And that is it's actually a theme in my video game history is that a lot of the things I was given were pink.
That's the girl
It was my
Right.
colour. It was
Yeah.
I had a little sister and her colour was apparently just black and mine was pink.
Right.
So I don't know if that says anything about me. But the only game I remember ever playing on my Game Boy Advance was The Lion King 1.5 Hakuna Matata.
Oh.
Wow.
Which was a side. I had to Google it because I was like, what is the name of this game? It's not just called The Lion King, but it's like based on Timon and Pumbaa, the like movie that they made.
Yeah.
It's a side-scrolling 2D platformer, and it was really, really hard. Like you had to play as one or the other. So you'd play as Pumbaa for like a couple minutes, get to a bit where you needed Timon, bring Timon over to you, and it was kind of a nightmare. But I remember playing it in the car on the way to my grand's house in Brighton, and at this point didn't really know what being travel sick was.
Oh.
Got halfway down like the M1 or something, and I went, Mum, I'm going to be sick.
This game
And
is so disgusting.
it was so hard. And I remember playing on a Game Boy and being like, feeling a bit queasy. And then we pulled over to Zoa Station and I immediately like shunted because I've been playing on my Game Boy the whole
Wouldn't
time.
have happened with a black Game Boy Advance, is what
No.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, if it wasn't a pink one, it would have been fine.
So do you get travel sick then?
Well, I used to when I was younger get really bad travel sick,
Right.
but now I just don't bother playing anything in the car if I'm driving or if
I've
I'm not
never,
driving,
ever
especially if I'm
felt
driving.
or gotten travel sick in my entire life.
Really?
Ah.
I suppose I'm just
Lucky for you, I
genetically
guess.
fantastic. So
I'm mostly okay like moving and in motion, but if I read, even for just a
Yeah,
moment, if
that's
I get my
the same.
phone out,
Really?
Yeah.
and then I can feel ill for like the
The
rest
most
of the
I can
journey.
do is like pick music or like go on like the maps to figure out where we need to go. If
Wow.
I do anything else, I feel queasy.
I just don't get it at all. Like it just, I've never had that sensation.
Well, I'm
Well,
happy
if it's
for
a
you.
matter of
Well, my
natural
knees-
selection,
mine-
you clearly make it.
My knees are buggered, so if that's
Right,
any
well,
consolation, like they're gonna just be replaced by robot legs.
I mean,
soon.
I already have a metal leg, so I'm like,
That's
Well,
one
true.
look
step
at that.
ahead
You've
of
already
you.
beaten me there.
Sorry about that. Everything you say, I will just be one-upping you now.
What
if
is your
that's all
deal,
right.
Ashton?
I do have another one.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's not really like it's just one of the vivid memories I have. When I was younger, I had a pink Nintendo DS Lite.
Oh, good.
You
And
just
my
had a black one.
and my sister did have a black one, and my dad bought home from his dodgy mate one of those like dodgy game cards that had
Oh,
like
yeah, I had one
loads
of those, like an
games on.
R4 card.
Yeah, the R4 card that
Yeah.
had like loads of games on it. And I remember being like, oh my God, I can put the cheats on at Animal Crossing before I even start. So I went into Animal Crossing with like unlimited money. It was great. That was like such
Pretty
a
good.
dream for
Being
me as a
able to
kid.
go into like any patch of grass in Pokemon Diamond and catch a Charmander was like,
Yeah.
this is ruined.
Just going through the cheat
This is
list
absolutely
and just like turning on
destroyed
every cheat as you went through.
any sense
yeah.
of like accomplishment
Gotta
or
catch 'em
achievement.
all.
Yeah, like I would use it. I would catch rare Pokemon in that, and because sort of through the various like janky systems that were available, I could trade it all the way back to the Game Boy Color
Right.
Pokemon games. So I would somehow manage to get a cheated Charmander or whatever, all the original starters back to my copy of Pokemon Crystal or whatever through trading through several different devices and cables and stuff. And it was, yeah, those cards were great though.
They were
Love them.
good. They were good.
Not that either of us stole games.
Well, I didn't. My dad, dodgy mate, did.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
I mean,
that's
I
all
was
right. Throw
8,
your
so
dad
I'm
under
not
the
going to accept any criticism for that.
Fair enough. I knew what I was doing, and I would do it again. I wouldn't. Or would I?
You still
Stop
do
this
it now.
man. He's crazy.
I don't know. These launch games
He's a
videos don't make
maniac.
themselves.
Yeah,
Well,
well.
I'm saying I'm not buying some of these games. I suppose it's my turn.
You're on
isn't it?
record.
Yeah,
there.
it's your
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I remember watching my dad play Doom on PC and I think a bit of Quake as well. And we always had, as I've spoken about before, really crap hand-me-down PCs
Right.
that never ran anything, but he was able to run that. And I remember watching over his shoulder him playing that and also Dark Forces as well.
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars Dark Forces. But my aunt had an original Game Boy and she had one of, I think, probably the forerunners, these R4 cards, where it was a cartridge that had like 200 games on it. And I remember borrowing it to go on like a school trip at some point. And I was like playing the Spider-Man game on it and stuff. And in the years that passed, I just assumed, oh, well, that was just, it probably wasn't like an official Spider-Man game. It was just a collection of like mini games and stuff.
Right.
But when we were doing the every Spider-Man game ranked, I was like, oh, that's that game. This cartridge definitely wasn't a legal real one, because that entire thing was on there alongside hundreds of other games. But yeah, that was probably it. I'd keep it short and sweet. My dad playing various PC games and my aunt's Game Boy and her illicit cartridge.
Amazing.
Steady.
Yeah, but there we are. It's time to move on to a section that I think I can say with all honesty that we've never done before, certainly as a trio.
No, it's brand new.
Wow.
It's
I've not done
called-
any of these before as a trio.
Well, that's
Well,
true.
it's a week of firsts,
yeah.
so it's exciting. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called What We Playin.
Oh.
It's What We Playin time. Time to talk about what video games we have been playing this week. Peter Austin, kick us off.
I have now uninstalled Halo 3,
I'm so proud of you.
but not after having played it for most of the week still.
Right,
Again.
okay. When did you uninstall it? Was it yesterday?
What day are we today?
Thursday.
No, I uninstalled it on Tuesday.
Okay.
So since the last podcast recording, which will have been last Wednesday, right? I think.
Yeah,
So
we recorded early, I think.
we may have done, but yeah. So yeah, for almost a week, I've still been playing that, but I've now done it. I've removed it from my computer.
It's a
Well
really
done.
big step for you.
It is a big
You've
step.
kicked the habit.
I've kicked the
kicked
habit.
it.
Gone.
Yeah.
The
I had a lot
first
of
step
fun.
is admitting you have a problem.
It is, which I did last week. The second step is uninstalling it.
Yeah.
I'm a bungeaholic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am looking forward to going back to Ratchet and Clank. I might just restart it because I only played like an hour or so. And again, like I've said this before about other games, it's not exactly hard to keep up with, but equally, I think I might just start fresh because it's not gonna add much onto my game time. So I don't have a lot to add to this section other than I played more Halo 3. I really enjoyed it, and it the past few weeks have really sent me back to my teenage years. But had a great time.
Yeah.
And Ratchet and Clank coming next week. from me.
I'm really sorry to hear that like you were enjoying something so much that you felt you had to deny yourself enjoying it
But
anymore.
it's mostly because of the podcast, really. Like, if I didn't have this job, I would probably just still be playing it for
Ever.
at least, well, maybe not ever, but for enough weeks until I actually got bored of it. But I just thought, I can't keep coming back and saying, I'm actually only playing Halo 3 again.
For the content. He's
Yeah.
doing it for
Yeah.
the
Doing it for
content.
you.
He's doing it for you, the listener.
Yeah.
Say
What a
thank
thoughtful
you right
man.
now.
So I'm afraid that's it from me. But fortunately, we have a whole extra person to tell us about what they've been playing this
Yes. Is it my turn
It's
now?
your turn.
It is your turn.
So
now.
I had kind of a week between my last job and this job, and I was like, well, but a chock full of finishing games that I'm not going to get to play when I eventually move to Newcastle. So I finished the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I finished it. I platinumed it. It's
Nice,
like my
well done.
fourth ever platinum.
Congratulations.
I actively went back and found all the little bear things.
Yeah,
just
those
to
bloody
make sure.
bears.
I did use the internet to help me find them, but
That's
I'm not ashamed.
fine. That's how trophy hunting
That
works.
is her, yeah. And I also finished Resident Evil Village last week for the first time.
We did on joint stream.
We did. We all finished it at the same time.
Yeah, well, I couldn't watch your streams because you were kind of just ahead of me, and I was like, well, I'm not ruining it for myself. So I finished it on Friday. That game was really good. I had one gripe with it, like the whole way through, and then they kind of were like, made me feel bad for having a gripe because it was kind of like the whole point of the story in the end.
Right.
Like
So-
the suspension of disbelief regarding
Yes,
certain
a
things.
certain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't spoil it, but yeah,
Yeah.
that was my only big gripe with it. Then at the end, I was like, well, now I feel bad.
Yeah.
And I've just complained about it for the whole time I've been playing this game. And then I picked up in the Steam sale Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 a little while ago. And I finally started playing Far Cry 3. I tried Far Cry 4 a couple of years ago and just couldn't get into it. But I went back and I'm trying to play through the old ones before the new one comes out. But I'm not going to make it because it's a Ubisoft game and they go on for like 100 years.
That's true. 3 I felt was pretty manageable.
Yeah,
because it
3
was
is
like
feeling-
that time when Assassin's
Yeah.
Creed 2 came out as well, and when they found the formula for what they wanted
Like,
all
it's
their
not
games to be
huge.
afterwards. Yeah,
It
so-
feels like a decent size, so
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay with it. But I kind of had the map and I zoomed out to be like, where am I going for this next mission? And I was like, oh my god, it's the typical go to the watchtower, unlock an area, go to a little fortress, unlock this area. And I was like, okay, we've done this before. We can do this. But at least this time we've got hang gliders. I'm not just like on a horse in the Egyptian desert or anything.
Sure.
So
That's true. What do you think of the baddie?
yeah, it's cool. I've just met the kind of his boss. I've just done that mission. So
It's been a long time since I played
yeah,
that.
I can't even remember the guy's name. I think it's like Holt or something. So yeah,
Sounds
just met that
suitably
guy.
cool.
But yeah, it's good. I'm kind of excited to see like where the rest of it goes.
Nice.
So when I get home, I will be playing that again.
You'll find that there's certain things in gaming that constantly come up in lists. BioShock is one, and the villains of the Far Cry games always come up in various lists.
Handsome Jack.
Handsome Jack
Handsome
comes up a
Jack is
lot.
good.
He's in one a lot.
Yeah, Minecraft comes up every now and then.
It speaks to the
Minecraft.
quality of these characters, though. The fact that when
Yeah,
you
Minecraft's
think
got
of a
some really
topic,
great
Minecraft, yeah,
Steve.
that's
Oh,
Creeper from that
damn.
game I played. Yeah, it does speak to their quality, though.
Yeah,
The fact they come
definitely.
up like you immediately think, what's a villain that stuck with you? Well, Handsome Jack is charismatic as hell,
Yeah.
and there's no one like him in any other game. Even though it becomes a bit cliche to say him all the time, it's like, well, he was really
But
good.
it's just a very well written.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. It's great.
What have you been playing, Ben?
I tell you what I've been playing. I played a little bit more Warzone because I'm a rad dude and I'm down with the kids. Won a couple of games, had some fun. It's my friend's birthday among my sort of Warzone squad that I play with. So we hopped on and played a couple of games in between his child screaming.
Oh, okay.
And
Happy birthday.
yeah, I know. He sounded knackered. He's got like I think an 8-month-old. And so
Gross.
they put the baby to sleep, and then the baby wakes up almost immediately.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, I've got to go. And that's kind of it. So, yeah, played a bit of Warzone. That was fun. Played some more Mass Effect 3. Still really enjoying that. I have saved, and now I'm savoring the Citadel DLC, which was one of the last, I think it was the last DLC released for Mass Effect 3. And I never played it when it originally came out. And it's like, it feels like the best description I can give is that it's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe tone that Mass Effect always needed. It's very sort of quite light-hearted, even though the subject
that the
matter is
party
serious.
one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. So lots of old characters and squad mates come back, and like there's this conspiracy. Someone's trying to kill Shepard, but everyone's sort of like quipping and having a good time. It's like like sort of a fan service DLC.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. I think it's fantastic, and I'm so sad I didn't play it the first time around. So I'm enjoying that. Another thing I've written down, because that's all I've played, but I watched season 2 of Mythic Quest.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of Mythic
I
Quest?
have not.
So this is the show that's on Apple TV. It's from Rob McElhaney and Charlie Day from Always Sunny, and it's about it's an office.
Oh, I have actually heard of this. But
Yeah.
it's on Apple TV, so I was like, no, no thanks.
That's such a. I mean, I understand that completely, and that's such a thing going against this show because a lot of people
Yeah.
will never watch it.
Yeah.
But it's a workplace comedy set in a game development studio.
Yes, yeah.
And it's really good because the gaming aspect is just sort of the foundation and the basis. It's not just sort of like Big Bang Theory, laughter track, AFK, LOL
It's
kind
mentioned
of
Star
stuff.
Wars.
Exactly.
So
It's
funny.
just sort of like a backdrop for just the characters to interact and get up to stupid stuff. It's really like there are genuinely a couple of episodes and a number of moments that are really sweet and like really well written, and it's really funny, and I think it's just a great show, and I hope more people get to watch it because I thoroughly enjoyed season 2 and I watched all of it at once and I couldn't stop watching
Why
it.
not? Yeah.
That's
So-
the best way to watch a TV show.
Yeah, Mythic Quest. I recommend it heartily. Go and
Ben
Go
approved.
and give it a watch. Yeah, definitely. Let's move on to question 2.
Yeah.
This is from another Michael, who's also our favorite.
Also, our
Michael
favourite
Bennett.
Michael.
Who is the bold dude who pops up and says, if you want to be insert whatever about it, I'm American and have no idea who it is, but it always makes me laugh. Peter, do you want to sort of lead the way on
I'd
on
actually
this
like
one?
to add in, I told Ben about this the other day. We had a comment on a video not long ago that said, why do you guys always make fun of Simon Miller? What have you got against him? He seems like a nice guy. And it's like, no, that's not how it goes. That's not it.
Simon Miller is in on the joke, and he is a friend of ours.
It's Simon Miller. So when we worked at What Culture, Simon Miller also worked at What Culture at the same time. He's always been freelance, right? He's never been like a full employee. But yeah, he...
the busiest man
He's
in
the
the
busiest
UK.
man. He's got. I don't want to say fingers in a lot of pies because that sounds like he's hedging his bets. But
I hate that phrase.
And also, it's not a very nice phrase. But he he knows a lot of people. He does work for lots of different companies. You see him around on various things.
Yep.
We've hung out with him on a couple of occasions when we've seen him at EGXs and things. And actually, one time, it was when we went to Gamescom, right, that we actually did a bit where we did the "if you want to get serious about this," and he sort of chased us across the room.
That was EGX.
Was it EGX?
Yeah, he pretended. We asked him very nicely, and he pretended to be cross and like threatened to hit us,
So
which
that's
is
the
not
nearest-
Simon Miller at all.
It's the nearest thing that you could get to why you're making fun of him. But he was very much in on the joke, and he actually also, when we were at Vidiots, he did a couple of
He was on Worst Games Ever.
Well, he was on Worst Games Ever. We used to phone him up. And he did a few Tell Your Friendses with people who like also met him in the wild and got him to say Tell Your Friends Vidiots.
Yeah.
So
He did.
it's Simon Miller.
Another thing, well, I suppose the whole aspect of if you want to get serious about this, is that he has like a couple of sort of catchphrases that I'm not even sure if he still does, because the majority of his content now is wrestling based over at What Culture, and we don't watch a huge amount of that. And certainly when we were there, he just went on these like brilliant sort of amazing
path.
like mental journeys through sentences. And there was one in particular, obviously, was the pray, or pray 2 if you want to get serious about this, which we enjoyed so much that we just sort of adapted to everything you could possibly think of, which was essentially the phrase now boils down to one way of saying something, or another way of saying something if you want to get specific about the way that other thing is said about this.
Yeah.
But there was one in particular where I think he was doing a preview for Banjo-Kazooie, and I wish I had the full quote with me. I should have prepared.
We should have brought it along, shouldn't we?
But it's the most brilliant, like...
It was ukulele, not Banjo-Kazooie.
Sorry, yes, that's why I'm getting them confused. Yeah, ukulele. And he was saying something like, you can play it, your mum can play it, hell, even your nan. I mean, you know, she might have a bit of trouble with the controls first. It's not like day one she's going to be good at the game. It's not like something like, it's not a spaceman doesn't go to like space day one. You've got to learn the controls first. And that's the way that ukulele feels to play, or something like that.
How it makes you feel.
It's amazing. Like, he's a fantastic man, and we're his number one fans.
There was another one I should just interject.
Yeah.
Which was, I can't remember what he was talking about, but he was saying that a certain game has this certain downside to it. It was like, which is a shame, because that's bad, and bad is not good.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I don't know why he put that in, and then we quite often take that one and just add 3 more sentences to it. Like, bad is not good, unless it is, in which case that's fine. And if it's fine,
and that's okay.
That's great.
That's
Things that
okay.
aren't great though are bad.
Yeah.
And
Unless you think they're good, in which case they're great.
it's very easy to just riff on Simon Miller.
Simon Miller's amazing. There's a good chance you'll have seen his work, even if you're not familiar with the man himself. But he is our friend, and B, he's in on the joke. So don't worry about that. But that's him.
And C, Ashton needs to meet him, and also
I would love to meet him.
start learning how to do a Simon Miller voice.
Yeah,
for
I don't.
lists.
It's going to take me a while to, I think, master it.
Just say, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
Thanks,
There you go.
guys.
I
Off
like
to a
it.
start. Great.
I'll keep
great
practicing. I'll
start.
just look in the mirror and I'll pull all my hair back so I can really get in the mood, and then I'll.
He's the most
practice.
positive man in the world. If you're having a
So
tough
nice.
time, just say, you're worth it, and I'm okay.
You'd think a man as successful, like jacked,
Is he really beefy?
he's like
He entered a bodybuilding. He is a wrestler, and he entered a bodybuilding competition.
You'd think a man with
He's
all
like
of
an
those,
enigma. Like
He does everything.
Sounds so
he does
cool.
everything. He's like, I want to play in a metal band. Does it.
Gonna
I want
do it.
to. I want to be a wrestler. Does it. I'm going to enter a bodybuilding competition. Does it. I'm going to do voiceover for Sky adverts for like wrestling games. Does it. I'm going to work on YouTube on
I
my
have
own
my own
channel
channel,
and
yeah.
do all the other stuff
That's
as
what I
well.
was going to say. Like
What an icon.
you'd think a man with all of those strings to his bow would not necessarily be an arsehole, but like just not really have time to also just be friends with the boys he met along the way.
Yeah, he's
But
lovely.
he's so nice.
He's such a brilliant man. So that question was all about us just gushing about Simon Miller and
Yeah.
how amazing he is. Sorry, Ashton, I
Well,
realised you didn't have much to
I'm
say.
sold.
But
Yeah.
anyway, let's move on to something a little strange,
Oh,
a little bit
peculiar.
peculiar. Ashton, would you like to lead us in here? What are we doing? What are we doing?
I think it might be weird news.
Weird news.
I could just slam my laptop on the table.
It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Peter, kick us off with some strange news.
This is according to Kotaku.com, home of weird news, but written by Nathan Grayson.
Oh.
Not Luke.
Big up, Nathan.
Big up Nathan. Twitch spammers just wanted to save Snoop Dogg from stream fail.
Oh no!
Note the word "just." That's all
They
they weren't trying to spam.
Again, because I was saying to Ashton earlier, Snoop has been on weird news before after rage quitting Madden and leaving his stream on for hours.
6 hours. He was playing music in the background.
Yeah, just wandering around.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Obscenely famous rapper Snoop Dogg it says,
Good.
streams on Twitch pretty regularly these days because he beat the game that is a life a long time ago, and now he's just doing side quests.
Is that the what? I love that.
It just
I
means
mean,
he
they
can do
tried
whatever
really
he
hard.
wants.
As a meme before, I think that's an internet thing.
There is
Yeah.
actually a hyperlink on that, so maybe.
Maybe it
he's
is
done
an
everything.
internet thing.
And what else can he do? Just does cooking shows now.
His most recent push for Existence's Platinum Trophy, regrettably, did not go so well. At first glance, yesterday's Snoop stream was not unlike the others he's done in recent months. He fired up a game in the series he always streams, Madden NFL, and smoked what he always smokes, weed. And then in brackets it says every day, as in smoke
Good.
weed every day.
Yep.
However, something was different this time, and it became evident pretty much immediately. There was no sound. Snoop is far from the first streamer to be afflicted by the common Twitch cold that is technical troubles. This writer, man, it's like Simon Miller taking us down.
Yeah.
But he proceeded to play Virtual Ball for an hour without changing anything. You might be thinking, why didn't chat say anything? Well, you see, it couldn't, but that didn't stop it from trying. Snoop had set his chat to emote mode only.
Snoop.
Snoopy Snoop. What's going
emote
on,
only
babe?
mode, I should say, meaning that viewers could not use words, so instead resorted to every combination of symbols they could think of to represent no sound. They hurled volleys of signs that said nay on them, paired with musical notes as well as microphones and pictures of dogs. They also tried multiple variations on mute icons, speakers with slashes through them, and the like. Unfortunately, Snoop either did not get the message or was not paying attention to chat. After a bit over an hour, there's now a big pop-up video, he ended the stream. He's not streamed since, nor acknowledged the return to the age of silent film on social media. Some very cursory detective work reveals a possible culprit. Snoop appears to have recently changed streaming locations, which could have messed up his settings. In his second to most recent stream, the game had no sound. The game had sound but no face cam. Now he has a camera but no sound. I'm going to assume by what we've got now from this article that the rest is just going to be padding so that they can put enough ads.
Snoop Dogg rose to fame in the
yeah.
mid-90s.
But there you go.
Wow. Oh, Snoop. He's definitely not reading chat, is
Feel
he? He
kinda
doesn't
bad
need
for
it.
him.
In fact, let me show you the picture of the chat.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
I love the description of the a dog emoji and then
barking dogs, nay,
That's
microphones.
brilliant.
It's very good.
so good.
Big fan of that. Yeah.
Well, that was weird.
It was weird.
Pretty weird.
I saw that earlier and I was going to pick that one, but then I found another one.
What did you pick instead?
I
Fine,
picked
Ashton.
because it kind of baffled me that this was even a thing that people noticed. So this is from Eurogamer, written by Tom Phillips. He looks like a lovely boy in his
does.
picture.
Oh, what a handsome man.
He is a handsome man. PlayStation pulls down advert with upside down PS5, and then they've very comically put for the players upside down
That's very
underneath
good.
it as a
Nice.
subheading. That's
Nice.
very
Upside down
nice.
text.
Like
great.
that. So yeah, Sony has removed a PlayStation 5 advert which showed the console placed upside down. Fans spotted the incorrectly positioned PS5 in the video yesterday, posted to Twitter. Overnight, the advert was quietly deleted from the internet. Now you might be wondering, what's in the ad? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
The heartwarming ad.
Ashton.
Ashton,
Yes.
What's in the ad?
Well, I'll tell you. The heartwarming ad began with a dad telling his son a bedtime story. Thinking of his current God of War playthrough, the dad starts telling his son a tale of how a father and son went for a walk in the mountains.
And then I ripped his head from his body.
Well, it doesn't say. It says the cherubic child quickly falls asleep. No children are cherubic. That's just
Dad then walks upside down out of the bedroom.
on the ceiling. Yeah. Back downstairs, the dad settles down to play God of War, but on the PS5, which is upside down in his TV unit. Sony has not commented on the removal, but the upside down hold on. Sony's not commented on the removal, the upside-down console, or the ad's accuracy of getting a small child to go to bed.
There we go. Yeah.
For reference, so it's in the picture they've just put up, it's laid down horizontally, so it's not like he's put it vertically upside down.
In the stand.
They've just put the stand the wrong way up.
Yeah, so essentially they've just put the disc tray on the top and not on the bottom, basically.
Humiliating.
Absolutely tragic, Sony. My God, how can you not tell the difference? For reference, if you choose to align your PS5 horizontally, the disc drive should be at the base of the console. But it is confusing. Last December, Kotaku, they got
Hey, there you are. There they are.
Spotted PlayStation studio boss Herman Holst also had his PS5 upside down in a video posted to Twitter of his cat climbing on the TV. Holst then pulled that video and then reposted it with the console cropped out.
Oh,
if in doubt, place it vertical.
Yeah.
But the picture that they've put up, so like this is the screenshot from the advert.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the description below.
Yeah, it's so like I don't even know how people would notice this.
It doesn't seem like it was on screen very long.
No.
Right?
For like mere seconds. But you mentioned that the whole disc drive thing in the PS5 is weird anyway.
It is.
You kind of feel like you're putting it in the wrong way round.
I do. Like,
So-
I have to put it like shiny side facing me, which feels weird. Like, it's very strange.
But then you were saying that in this formation of having the PS5 with the disc drive on the top, you have to like turn the disc upside
you would be
down,
putting the disc in upside
shiny
down.
side up
True.
to put it in.
That console's clearly not actually linked up to that TV.
And I know they're
No.
not playing anything, which
It's
is
not
probably
even
how
got
they
the
didn't
lights
notice.
aren't
But
even
if,
on the PlayStation 5.
if they
Like,
did
the
have to
light
put a
isn't
disc
on,
in,
so-
they would learn pretty quickly that. But I've
like,
put discs
this is
when I
weird.
first got my PS5. I put discs in upside down a few
Yeah,
times.
I did too as well, wrong way around. I was like, why is it not working?
It's almost as though. I mean, I'm just going to say
Oh my
this.
God,
Yeah.
this is going
I'm
to be
gonna say it.
scandalous.
The PS5 is actually not a very pretty and elegant console.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Why would you say something so bold?
I don't know.
Mr. Sony is going to be so sad.
Poor Ken.
Mr.
Ken
Herman,
Kutaragi.
Mr.
Hey,
Herman
poor
Holst, who
fella.
put his
A giant-
PlayStation 5 upside down. He's going to be so
His
upset.
cat's sad too.
Oh,
Do you
he's
want
upset his cat.
Herman's sad cat.
a big plastic white book with big flaps on it? Could probably
I
fly.
think it is the flaps
hear
that I
you.
don't like.
I hear you, right? I've customized my flaps.
A lot of women doing that.
But you don't. I think we
Have you
can say
bedazzled
in our own personal experience, you don't have to do that.
Your PlayStation 5 is beautiful.
You don't need to bedazzle your flaps on the PS.
Exactly.
No.
I, however, have chosen to. I have mine vertically because I think horizontally
I have mine
it is
vertically as well.
hideous,
Yeah.
laid down.
No
But with
offense,
the
Peter, who has his laid down. But
Mine's-
yours looks horrible in
Yeah.
your house. I went to your house yesterday and I thought, wow.
the first thing Ashton
What
saw
a
was like, oh, what a
Say yours
scrub.
looks horrible in your house. Wow.
Your PlayStation 5.
But it wasn't the
does.
PlayStation 5; it was the house around
yeah,
it. If
I
it
thought
were
this
laid
house
horizontally
is
in
horrible. At least that PlayStation 5
any
too.
other house,
It
it'd be
won't fit
fine.
in the TV stand vertically.
I
It
have
doesn't fit anywhere vertically.
I've put mine next to my TV now,
Yeah,
and I've
mine's next to the
customized it.
telly.
I've got some lovely black flaps, and it looks flipping way not like it's crazy how much nicer it looks with black flaps, a vertical. It's ridiculous.
We've had
really.
to set up a little table that's like the same height as our like
A special
TV stand.
PlayStation
It
table.
has a special
Oh,
PlayStation table because it doesn't fit next to the telly on the PlayStation stand. So it has its own little table that it sits on, and it's really awkward to get to because it's kind of like in a corner. But basically, I have two tellies, and they're like this, and it's here, and we have to like reach
Right.
through the tellies to like put the PlayStation on.
I had to buy,
And
you know,
so-
the monitor stands you can get, so you can put like documents and stuff underneath your PC monitor or whatever. I had to buy one of those in the same sort of disgusting cheap MDF pine that I have my TV stand made out of.
Yes.
So I could raise up my TV, put it on that, put the soundbar in front of it, and move everything along to fit the PS5 on. I had to buy custom woodwork to
The
get my
things we
PS5
do
on my.
to be a gamer.
Hey,
Well-
it looks nice though, so
Yeah, that's
it's
all that
worth
matters,
it.
really.
Wouldn't you know that the reason I don't have my PS5 vertical next to the TV stand is because that place is already taken by a PlayStation 2.
Ah, but that
and,
one
and
works
a series of
horizontally.
little wooden
It does,
ducks.
but yeah. Well, so does the PS5. It just doesn't look very nice. It works.
Looks better than horizontal.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I've got some weird news. My weird news actually comes courtesy of Sam LFC98
Get it,
on
Sam.
Twitter. You will have noticed that LCFC 98. Sam
That's the
LCFC.
city.
Yeah,
Yes.
There we go.
That's where I go.
Yes.
Football. Leicester.
You will have noticed if you follow us on Twitter and Facebook as well. We'll promote those properly at the end of the show. But Team TripleJump on everything, pretty much. Our wonderful community manager Fraser is now posting early in the week, asking for submissions for weird news, and we are sourcing some of them from there. So Sam submitted this through that, just in reply. This is from GameSpot. I am now just loading up the article, and here it is. Minecraft gets a 19-plus age restriction in South Korea.
Oh my god.
This is from...
Not just 18 plus.
19 plus.
You're only mature when you're 19. That's actually well known.
It's true. This is from Hayley Williams, as you said, off of
Off of the Paramore.
Off of the Paramore. While Minecraft is generally considered a great child-friendly game, a law in South Korea has resulted in the game being blocked off to all players under the age of 19. The ban isn't anything to do with any of Minecraft's content, but the fact that an Xbox Live account is needed to play the game.
Oh.
Right.
As reported by GameIndustry.biz, Microsoft recently informed South Korean players that they would need an Xbox Live account to continue playing Minecraft, with accounts only being able to be made for people over the age of 19.
Is that a universal thing or just in South Korea? Because I didn't realise it was 19 plus to have a Microsoft account.
That must be South Korea.
Must be.
Yeah.
There will probably be an age rating on it
Yeah.
everywhere, but I don't think it would be 19.
No,
No.
absolutely
Everywhere
not.
in the world.
The age restriction is due to a controversial South Korean shutdown law,
Right,
which
there we go.
prohibits children from playing games between midnight and 6 a.m.
Whoa.
Just so-
You've not even had a fizzy drink like we have.
Well, I had a little bit of Pepsi Cherry upstairs, but it was a
Oh, you
while ago.
Snuck a Pepsi Cherry.
I did.
Did
Well, you
you
won't look. I didn't want you to know my secret shame. The law has been in place since 2011. While some game providers have implemented technical solutions to prevent minors from playing their games between these hours, tick this box if you are older than 19.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am.
Microsoft instead chose to restrict all Xbox Live accounts for people under the age of 19. Until now, users have been able to sidestep that restriction by logging into Minecraft with a Mojang account instead. So it goes on to talk about this sort of controversial situation in South Korea. It doesn't sound like players are particularly happy about it. But there we are. Minecraft now slapped with a big old 19 plus age rating.
There's some sort of minor pun to be done with that, but I can't. I've only had half of my drink, so and it's only
Minecraft, more like not for minors craft.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I like
Perfect.
it. I'll
Can't
take it.
improve on that. I thought of one, but it is it's accidentally completely explicit, and I can't even repeat it. I thought that actually makes sense, but it has so many other horrifying connotations that I'm just going to let you think about what it could be.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Right? You see? Do you see what I mean, though?
Yeah,
But it can work, right?
The more I think about that, do you want me to
Can we
whisper it to
Chinese
you?
whispers it,
Yeah.
please?
So I'll just keep talking, so there's no way that they could actually be. Do you see, though? Right?
Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think it's bad enough that I don't want to say it out loud.
actually, maybe don't say that one. Yeah,
it
let me
takes a minute, and then it's
Yeah.
oh no.
It's like,
No.
actually, no. And I could have
That's
not
our little
mentioned it
secret,
at all.
that one.
Yeah.
That
You'll
one's
never
just
know.
our little secret.
I didn't need to even bring it up, and people would not even have known. But I
But you
decided to
did.
share that so people can talk about something. And anyway, let's move on.
Okay.
Is it time for another question? Yes, it is. And it's my turn to read it. Thank you, Ben.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. No,
It's-
it's not. It's your turn to read it,
It's
Peter.
my turn.
Ashton,
I'm not
help.
reading them today.
No.
Ashton, help.
You have to be a full-time in Newcastle
yeah.
employee to do that.
They said this is actually really hard to handle the question, so
Yeah.
you have to wait.
We mansplained the hell out of
Yeah.
it, really. That's what we
Jono Charles Davey says, "Hi Peter and Ben." And-
Jono!
and Ashton. And
I'm here.
Jono said and Ashton, I'm sure, in that tiny hyphen.
Oh
there.
yeah, it's just
And
in,
Ashton.
like 0.5 font. I see it
Ashton.
now.
Hi Peter and Ben and Ashton, the flower pot men.
And women.
And women.
All women.
Oh, will I ever get to the end of this sentence? Do you ever feel a bit lonely when playing certain games alone? At the moment, I'm playing through Resident Evil 7. And while the story is intense and scary, and I love it, I feel the need to talk to people while I play it. Favourably people who've already played it. It's a similar feeling to wanting to watch a Marvel film with another fan of superhero movies. I've been lucky with the Final Fantasy games in that regard, but have struggled a little bit on the Resident Evil front. Thanks, guys.
Jono.
Thanks, Jono.
Thanks, Jono.
I think it partly depends on exactly what Jono is asking. When I first read this question, I thought Jono meant to have someone sitting in the room with you chat to while you're playing the game.
Yeah.
Kind of rereading that, I do wonder if Jono just means in between times, like, you know, you go into work and say, oh, I've played a bit more Resi last night, and your friend's like, oh yeah, how far have you got now? And, you know, to that extent.
Or you go to school and you say, oh, I finally leveled up Fire to Fire 2 in Final Fantasy 7, and you're in year 6 of primary school, and your friend Jack is just like, I don't know what any of that means. And
Or
then,
you're in
like,
South
what's the
Korea
point?
and you've just turned 19 and you say, I
Going to
really want to
work.
play Minecraft with my friends, but unfortunately they're all under 19, so they can't play.
Yeah.
Who's got all of their friends are under 19?
Or you go to the playground and say, oh, I used strength to move the truck yesterday.
Yeah, and I found Mew.
Yeah, found Mew.
And Jack's like, whatever, mate, that's not true. I got the strategy guide, and my uncle is actually Nintendo.
And my uncle is
Uncle
Peter's
Nintendo.
gamer uncle,
My
and he
uncle's
said
Peter's
that's actually
gamer uncle?
impossible.
Yeah,
So-
Michael Nintendo. So I probably have different answers for those two things. In some ways, I prefer to just kind of play games on my own. I don't mind if people are there in the room talking to me. You know, I live stream, and that's obviously a lot of people talking to you in a different way, not physically in the room, but you know, that's all fine. But I like to, you know, catch what's going on in cutscenes. I have subtitles turned on all the time when I play games and watch TV and things like that, because I just don't want to miss a thing. But I do like the idea of playing a game that one of your friends already knows about, and you can go in and kind of say, oh yeah, you know, I'm up to this point now. Like, for example, when I finally get around to Mass Effect Legendary Edition after I've played Rift Apart, you know, I'll actually be able to have conversations with the likes of Ben Potter and Ashton. Have you played Mass Effect?
No, I've just watched my boyfriend
Just
play
watch
it.
your boyfriend play it.
You don't want to talk to me about Mass Effect.
No, well, but you know, things like that. You know, it's nice to just be able to say, I finally play, especially if it's an older game. I think I don't mind so much chatting about things that are very new and fresh off the presses. But if it's something that you missed out at the time, and then you can go, finally got round to this thing now. It's good, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Why can't I sprint across the room?
Yeah.
Well, I can actually
Well,
tell you why. It's 'cause Commander Shepard is very unhealthy.
So that's my answer. Ashton?
So I think I interpreted it the way that you first interpreted
Right.
it, but I also didn't as well. So games I don't like playing on my own are games where they're kind of like built to play with other people, like Borderlands, for example. I played through 3 with my boyfriend, and then I went to go, so I played as Amara first, and I thought I'll go back and I'll play as Flack because their character interests me. And I just couldn't get through it on my own because I was playing that second time on my own. I was like, I just don't have the energy to like just play this on my own because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'd rather play it with someone else. So I think games where it's like designed to have other people around you, I think can be a little bit sad to play on my own.
Yeah.
But I also I kind of feel in the way that I quite like to play games with other people around. Like when I was streaming before these boys hired me, like I quite liked to play games when people kind of knew the game. So like I played Resident Evil 7 on stream, and I really enjoyed it because in between when I was wandering around pooping my pants because I was scared, I had people being like, haha, you're funny, or you look silly, you're an idiot. And I'm
Go to
like,
Grandma's
yes, I
room.
am.
There's a big special item in there.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. But then also games where it's like I'm playing them on my own, I normally will have them. So in our living room downstairs, we have 2 tellies that are connected to different consoles so that I can play on the PlayStation 5. So I'm playing like Ratchet and Clank, and my partner might be sat next to me playing a different game so that we can still have a conversation,
Yeah.
but not play the same game at the same time, which I quite like. But then saying things like Ratchet and Clank, we were both sort of playing that game simultaneously, and we couldn't like talk about it because we were both at different points.
Right.
And it'd be like one of us would walk downstairs and they'd be like, quickly out of the room, something's happening that's exciting.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll wait in the
It's my
kitchen.
house too.
Yeah, I'll wait in the kitchen for you to finish this bit, and then they'd have to turn the game off to like get so that I could come and sit with them, because obviously I don't want to spoil it for myself.
Yeah.
We had to wait until we've both finished the game to be able to talk about it, which was kind of annoying, but at least at the end of it we did get to have a discussion. But yeah, I think if you're playing a game simultaneously, it's that feeling of like, did you get to this bit yet?
Yeah.
And they're like, what? No? And you're like, oh,
What?
damn it.
That's
I'm sorry.
true.
So I've ruined it for you. But yeah, that's kind of annoying, but I don't know if I answered the question.
Yeah. I
There
think
you
you
go.
did.
Yeah, you did. So I really enjoy playing games on my own to an extent, but I think both of you are right. There are certain games that it's nice to have people nearby for it. So I live alone, but my partner was staying when I was finishing up The Last of Us Part 2,
Oh, such a
which
good
is quite heavy.
It's intense.
It's a bit heavy, and she had actually watched ahead, like a Let's Play on YouTube, and she knew what was coming. She didn't tell me, but it was just nice when I was there. Like, I was just so raw at the end of that game, and I just sort of turned. And I was like, "What? What the hell was that?" And it was nice to have someone there to like just talk to about what the hell just happened. And I think there is sort of a surrogate. YouTube can be a great surrogate for that in terms of, especially with games that make you think or perhaps are a bit abstract with their themes. This year I played Kentucky Route Zero, which is just about as abstract as you could possibly get from a video game, but also games that have like deeper meanings and subplots like BioShock, and I've made a note of a couple of others here. Particularly, I thought Final Fantasy VII Remake as well did some things that were different from the original game. And rather than talking to someone, you can always talk to someone about it if you want, and that's okay. But you can also just Google or just YouTube search Final Fantasy VII Remake ending explained or something, and there'll be like a dozen videos that have 100,000 views of people just dissecting the themes. And while you may understand what the ending was, it's just to hear other people talk about it and like and explain what happened. I find that very helpful and useful, especially with some of the more, as I said, abstract indie games that I'll play from time to time.
It's like TV shows. You go on like Reddit or something and you say like, oh, what did you think of this episode? And everyone's like got all these different theories, and it's like their own opinion. You're like, actually, I didn't even think about that when I was playing.
Bits of foreshadowing that like you spot
Yeah.
ahead of time that you might have completely missed. But
Yeah.
like, oh, did you notice that like that clock was actually set to the same time all the time, or just little things like that.
Yeah.
Like the Joker.
Yeah.
Like the Joker.
Like the Joker.
Where the clock's the same in every scene. Like in the Joker. So yeah, there's that. And I do like playing games alone because sometimes it can be difficult when you've got other people around to like concentrate on a really
I'm quite easily
narratively heavy
distracted,
game.
so-
Exactly, and you'll be more inclined to go, do you want to watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
And then you don't play any more of that game that night. However, one specific example that I really enjoyed having someone else in the room with me was for when Dark Souls 3 released, because I had my friend come and stay with me, and I was living in London at the time. We had 2 TVs. Dark Souls 3 had come out that weekend, and we were going in completely blind as huge Soulsborne fans. Bloodborne was out by that point, so it was technically Soulsborne.
Yes.
And we were just like, it's what I've talked about in this podcast before, like shields up, creeping around the corner, like, oh God, what's going to happen? What horrible thing is going to happen next? You send your friend round first because you summoned him in, and if you die, you both go back to the sub. If he dies, you can bring him back. He walks around the corner and just gets blasted back into the corridor by like a dragon or something. And there was nothing like it. It is so enjoyable, like those choose your own adventure books, to be like, I just don't know what horrible thing is coming. And to be able to go through that with a friend, you can do it with voice chat, but there's something special about doing it in the same room that was so much fun. But yeah, I feel like we've all taken our own sort of our own interpretation of that question.
I was just going to say, when you talked about The Last of Us, that it reminds me of when I played through the first Last of Us part 1 and all of the Uncharted games. My partner watched me play through all those, and I think there's something quite because they're very cinematic, and you can almost sit down and just watch that game like a film. There's something quite nice to like be in control of that and feel like you're almost putting on a show for someone else. Like you're almost like the director of a movie. Or something.
That's so cute.
I'm gonna like, go and do this now, and
like you're an E3 demo.
watch your reaction. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So I think that's also a nice little touch, like when it's a very cinematic game. Yeah.
I agree. Well, there we are. It is time to move on to. Thank you, Ashton.
Yeah.
It's time to move on to. Grab the paper, Ashton.
This paper?
That paper. You ready?
You want me to rustle it? I was like, I don't need this. I've got a laptop.
It's time to move on to the big discussion. Wow, as a trio, look. Amazing. Give me that back.
There you go.
Give me that. It's big discussion time. Time for the big discussion this week from Stukalicious, who says, "Welcome back, you handsome boys."
No, I take that.
Girls.
I'll take handsome boy.
There's something at the end of this question for you. Don't worry.
But I will accept handsome boy as a
Okay.
as a greeting.
All right. Well, that's fine. Now you know everyone.
Yeah.
I hope you both had a nice time at summer camp. We did.
Did you
actually.
have a
It's all
nice
right.
time?
Yeah, it was lovely. It was nice
Did
to be
lots of-
away from
lots
you.
of. I was going to say water sports, but I actually mean water sports.
sports.
I,
You
didn't,
did the thing I did earlier, but you said it out loud.
Out loud.
I didn't mean it in a naughty way.
Well, it's too late now.
Sorry.
The connotation is there.
Oh,
Miners shafted.
With more and more stories of fan remakes happening, including someone currently remaking the original Resident Evil as a first-person game, are there any of your favourite games that you'd like to see remade, whether fan-led or by developers, which offer a new perspective to the original gameplay or features? And hello to the new person. Welcome to the Walrus Clan.
Wow.
Hello.
Stukalicious
know?
actually listened to the end of last week's
Stukalicious
podcast. Look at that.
is a little gem. My
A
favourite.
little gem.
Little gem.
Little gem.
Just like those little biscuit treats. They were called little gems.
Midget gems.
No, the little
Can't say
biscuit.
that.
No, you
No,
can't.
the biscuit things.
Yeah, they were
With
called. Oh no, that was the
Ice
midget-
gems?
gummy
I-
ice
oh, they were
gems.
ice gems.
Yeah.
Ice gem. What with the polar bear on there?
Yeah.
They're going to release that soon, and there's going to be no polar bear. It's just going to be ocean.
Yeah, just a big puddle.
It's a really skinny polar bear.
Oh no.
Great. Anyway,
It's the only
sorry.
existing
so the-
zoos now.
the Earth is dying. Let's distract ourselves with video games.
Let's.
Peter, all of your favourite games have been remade, so you don't get to have an answer.
Whoa, actually, one of them hasn't yet, but probably is being remade as we speak. Resident Evil 4. I really like the Resident Evil remake games of recent years.
They're good.
Even Resi 3, which I think isn't as bad as some people.
I enjoyed
no
Resi
one
3
thinks
a
it's
lot.
bad
I haven't
anyway,
played it
but,
yet. That's
like,
next on my list.
It's not even as not as good as as people think it is. Oh, the gymnastics. It looks worse in comparison to Resident Evil 2. You know, if the Resident Evil 2 remake had never even been conceived of,
Yeah.
and they just brought out Resi 3 remake, people would go, wow, this is brilliant.
It's so good. Resi 2 is just the better game
It's
all
just
round, isn't
way
it?
better,
And I
so,
think that's,
yeah.
just sets itself up for failure, really.
But to have Resident Evil 4 in the same engine, that really nice, clean, it's just called RE engine, isn't it? That I really love. I
Yeah.
talk so much, I put so much praise on that engine, but I really like it. And
One of the most delicious looking cheeseburgers I've ever seen in a video game,
Yeah.
from the opening of Resi 2 remake, where where the man gets bitten at the gas
Yeah.
station,
Oh,
the
yeah.
lorry
and
driver.
It does look like a
That
good
cheeseburger,
burger.
God, looks so good.
I want to see
Ooh.
all the really horrible things in cooking pots in the Resi 4 village.
Oh,
That's
Just
like
festering.
that's always the best part of any zombie game, isn't it? Of just seeing like the mangled fridges,
Yeah.
like the fridge in
Throw
like
in the
Resi 7 where you open it,
oh,
it's
the
just
the
goop.
pot as
Yeah.
well, and it's oh god.
There's
Anyway,
a toilet
sorry.
in Resi 4 where you can interrupt a man who was, I think, just using it. He's not
Doing a
sitting on
poo.
it anymore. Doing a
Doing
poo
a
at
poo.
Paul's. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil 4. And then I've put two others that I don't actually mind whether they get remade or if a sequel just gets made, but I just want to see more from Bully, the Rockstar school game. GTA.
I played that was
going
like
to school.
a game I begged my parents to get me
a great
because I
game.
think I watched someone play it on YouTube and I was like, I really want this game, and I never played it.
Oh, didn't you?
I had it, and I think I just didn't get around to playing it.
I should stream that game actually.
I
was
think you
thinking of
should.
stuff to
Yeah, I
stream.
think
That's a
you
very
should.
streamable
You should
game.
start it in. You should try and align it so that you play the Christmas episode on the last stream of the year.
Yeah, that's a good shout. And also Time Splitters. You know, whether that gets remade or remastered or just as Time Splitters 4 comes out.
Just do something with Time Splitters, please. I know you're doing a remake.
A
but-
MOBA?
Not a
No.
remake. You're doing more with. It's THQ Nordic, though. Is it going to be good? Probably not. But it's got original team members. I don't know. It's been 20 years. I'm so conflicted about
I
it.
just want to be able to play as Calamari. Please, someone's pinch my winkles.
I want to play as Cyborg
Ashton.
Chimp and annoy everyone
Yeah.
because I'm 6 foot smaller than everyone
Yeah,
else.
he's the odd job of the Time
Yeah.
Splitters world. Remakes.
Okay, so I essentially ran into a wall about 4 times with this question. So much so that I woke myself up last night because I realised the one answer that I had for it, I was wrong. So
Well
I
done.
essentially yesterday I realised like I'd quite like to play the original Half-Life and play that game, but I tried to play the original one and I hated it because it's just old and janky. And then I woke up last night at about 3 a.m. after falling asleep and went, Black Mesa exists. They've already done it. And then so that has already happened. And then I thought, well, I'd quite like to play the original Resident Evil. And then I read back the question this morning when I got here, and I was like, it's literally in the question that they're remaking it. So essentially, the only other thing that I could think of is the
Yeah. There
Hello?
There they go. We had a good run, didn't we? Like an
I
hour
know.
without them creaking
I know.
upstairs.
The only like thing I could think of was the original Tomb Raider games and like that story, because everyone says like they've got a really good story in the first couple of Tomb Raider games, and I would like to play that because I played the new Tomb Raider games.
the
TR.
reboot,
Yeah, they're pretty good. I enjoyed them. I haven't finished like all the collectibles and stuff because I'm not Ben Potter, but I finished the story.
I didn't even like Tomb Raider, so you can get those collectibles. Where does Anniversary fit into the
I was about
remake?
to say, so the first Tomb Raider game was actually remade as well, but years ago on PS2. Tomb Raider Anniversary. It was 20 years since the first game, but it's a really good game. I love Tomb Raider Anniversary. It's another game I should stream. I'm always struggling for like games I should stream, but that's another good one.
There we
we're
go,
now
you're
as
welcome.
far the other side of Anniversary as the
Yeah.
original was from the remake.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So they could definitely do
Remake
that
it
again.
in the modern Tomb Raider engine.
Because I wondered if they were going to make a new. Obviously, it's the 25th anniversary of Tomb Raider this year.
Yeah.
I think because the whole thing with E3 this year was that obviously we were like, are they going to do another Tomb Raider game? They did the remakes. Are we going to get another one? No was the answer, but
Maybe Anniversary was it must have been 10 years then, surely, or 15.
Yeah, I think
It can't have been
Anniversary was
20.
10. I just watched a GDQ speedrun of it.
Yeah,
where they just
backflipping
broke
all-
it.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and I think he said it was 10
It must
years.
have been 10. 20's too much, but yeah.
yeah. So I don't really have an answer because all of my answers already exist. So
What about that Timon and Pumbaa
Yeah.
Lion King game?
the game's really
In
hard.
the RE engine.
Yeah, I'd like it in the
Lovely.
Resident Evil engine, please. Yeah.
Great big bug burgers looking
Yeah.
very juicy,
Yeah.
delicious.
You'd have to collect like 40 bugs in each level.
Those
It's quite
bugs look
difficult.
delicious in the original
did
film
actually,
anyway.
They
yeah.
did.
I've never wanted to eat bugs.
Yeah.
And also, like, weirdly in Shrek, you know, the bugs that, like, he had the slug and he put it on his toothbrush and he cleaned his teeth with it. I was like, that actually
That's
looks
a-
pretty nice.
Actually, a bit far. That second. But I was with you in the Lion King.
Well, yeah, but that's why I thought, well, this is a bit of a stretch, this one. Also, you know, that mud bath that he has as well.
the mud
Yeah,
bath
mud
does
bath
look
also
quality,
looks
to be
like I
fair.
could maybe have like a ladle of that, I think.
The Lion
maybe.
King bugs,
Be
the
pretty
sound
good.
effect is that they're really crunchy, like they're sort of nice, dry, crispy bar
Yeah,
snacks. But I
then
think
they're like chewy on
Pork
the
scratchings.
inside.
I think some of them would probably, if you ate them in real life, would have gooey stuff in the middle, which doesn't
Yeah.
sound as nice.
And you get some interesting diseases.
I mean, you can eat bugs. Maybe we'll do a prove it.
Yeah,
No, we're not.
Can you eat bugs?
Yes.
let's
Yes.
find out.
Solved. We did
We'll
it.
get some of those, like, because you can get like packets of bugs that are like salt and vinegar.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
want those. We've been sent like
I'd eat
scorpions in lollies
think I'd
before
eat
and
them.
stuff, and I look at them and think, not today.
I'll do
If
it.
you'd
as a
like,
maybe at
if
some
you'd like a
point.
prove it episode,
Yeah.
comment on the YouTube comments.
No, no.
Tweet at Ben that you want him to eat bugs.
At Ben on
At Ben on Twitter.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Sorry, I
Um,
don't have a very good answer. I'm
no,
so
that's all right. I think Tomb
Stickalicious,
Raider's a
I really,
good-
you've welcomed
Tomb
me,
Raider's
and I
good,
feel
yeah.
like I've upset you. Stickalicious, please don't be upset with me.
They'll survive.
Yeah.
They'll survive. I think Tomb Raider's a good one. I'd
Thanks.
be like, I never really got into the old Tomb Raider games because I just found them really horrible to control, and I never played Tomb Raider Anniversary, so it's been so long since Anniversary that I
They
would
should
happily
remake
play an original.
Peter's favourite one from Worst Games Ever. Was it
Oh, Angel of Darkness.
Darkness.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
yeah.
leave it all the same. Just make it shinier.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
need to do.
Just make the jiggle physics better.
I've got down here Time Splitters 2 and Future Perfect
Yeah.
because we always talk about that, and I know that they've got one in development, and I know that there have been fan remakes in development for what feels like a century, and none of them have happened. But yes, 2 and Future Perfect I would like
Yeah.
very, very much. Those games are fantastic, and God, there's so much DNA in them of GoldenEye 007
Yeah.
that to bring them, like, it's the kind of game that I would only trust really to a studio like Bluepoint, who remake games based on the source code. Like, they add little things, but it's fundamentally extremely faithful because they sort of get the old game running. There's a fantastic documentary on NoClip on YouTube about Demon Souls remake that's just gone up in the past week, and they talked to Bluepoint Games about their process and how they did Shadow of the Colossus as well, and they sort of, I'm paraphrasing massively obviously because it's extremely complicated, but they basically get the original game running in their engine and then they rebuild it from there, so it's as faithful as it possibly can be. And remaking Time Splitters 2 and Future Perfect, I don't think anything really needs to be changed in that game. Maybe slightly more modernized controls, because
Yeah.
I would always go in and completely customize my controls to make it more like Call of Duty, really, when I went back and played it later on. But beyond that, it needs to be sort of the same game,
Yeah.
really, because it's great. There are some jokes in there, like with Joe Beth Casey or whatever
Casey.
she's called, that have aged badly.
Very badly.
And maybe those can go now. But yeah, largely I think it's a great game that doesn't really need to be changed that much. Apart from that, I put Simpsons Hit and Run. Because why are we still waiting for that? Even if it just gets remastered, that's fine. Just
Yeah.
I just want to play it again, not on a PS2. Why is that so hard?
Have you seen that mod that someone's made where they've stitched all of the maps together so you can
Have
drive
they?
around all of
Oh, that's
Springfield?
amazing.
That's pretty cool.
It's really good.
Yeah, that'd be great. And the last one I've written down is SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, which is the best wrestling game, and I won't fight people about it. But it's so good.
You
and
fight them in the game.
Yeah,
I will
gonna say
fight
in the
people
game.
in the game. The controls, everything about it is brilliant. Like, you compare it to today's games, and there's a lot wrong with them, obviously. But they've sort of mini-gamified every aspect of what they think is important to a wrestling game. So when you kick out, it's like one of those little golf wheels where a little ball spins around. You have to stop it in like an increasingly smaller field, depending on how hurt you are, to kick out, and it gets really hard to do it. And when you're in a submission hold or something, there's a mini game where you're like chasing each other around. You've got to evade the other person's thing,
I
and
remember that one,
if it's
yeah.
overlaps for too long, you tap out. That sucks. I hate that so much. In Here Comes the Pain, it may have like meant absolutely nothing, but it was like completely opaque, and it hid it from you, and it was just mash buttons.
Yeah.
And there was this sort of really tense, like, oh my God, am I too hurt to kick out if I mash it really fast? Or am I too hurt to like survive this, submission hold or whatever? And it also removes that element of, I feel like a massive idiot because I messed up the kick out mini game and I wasn't hurt at all and I just mistimed it and now I've lost. Whereas at least you didn't have to blame yourself if you got pinned before. I think Here Comes the Pain is a phenomenal game. All it needs to have is updated visuals and an updated roster, and the rest of it is fantastic. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. And I will fight people. I've decided. I've changed my mind now. I will
Bring it
fight
on.
people. Yeah. But there we are. Those are some games we'd like to see remade. What did you think of all the things we discussed today? Didn't Ashton do well?
Yes.
We think
Thank
she
you.
did. Peter is now going to tell you where you can find us all around the internet and ways that you can get involved.
Wow.
Our name is Team TripleJump. We are at youtube.com/Team TripleJump and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump. It's where we do our videos and live streams at various times. Look on the social media to find out when we're streaming. If you want to know what those social medias are, I'm going to tell you in the next sentence. It's twitter.com and facebook.com/Team TripleJump. I should say, actually, that when we are streaming, Lord Rotovich and Trolling Badger are modding us. And if you've got Amazon Prime as well, then you get a Twitch sub with that. It's all just part of the deal, so consider using that on us if you like. Thank you to Luke Eldon for looking after Facebook, and also to Fraser for looking after both Facebook and TripleJump for us, and Twitter, sorry. Hello. It's like weird being in this new room. So our Twitter will have live stream announcements, etc. And Facebook has video content on it, old clips and things from the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You can put on there. The Patreon is patreon.com/Team TripleJump. There's lots of different tiers. Go check them out. The website is triplej.mup. That's triplejU.mp. If you go to triplej.mup/Discord, that'll send you straight to our Discord, which is modded by Jack, Joe, and Holloweyes. Thank you, gang. triplej.mup/podcast will send you to the audio version of the podcast if you're watching on YouTube right now. triplej.mup/VODs sends you to our VODs channel on YouTube, where all of our live stream VODs get uploaded. And you can go to triplejumpshop.com to get to our shop. And there's also TripleJump Shop on Twitter.
Yes,
as well.
and we've been in communication with our merch guy this past week about potential new things for the future, and also our next drop is pretty much finalized. We are in, hopefully, the final stages before that goes out. So
We've
please,
said that a few times.
please be excited, but we really are now,
Yeah, we
and
actually are.
hopefully we'll get merch samples very soon. So there we go. You can follow Peter and Ashton on Instagram and Twitter at @ThatPeterAustin and @ScrambledAshton.
That's me.
And I'm just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Streams every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday being the joint stream on YouTube, Blaze It. Monday and Friday being the solo streams on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly. Friday for patrons of a certain tier. Sunday for everyone else. It's not a Worst Games Ever week this week. The podcast is every Saturday, and we do shows and other content once every other week or thereabouts. Why not leave a review on iTunes or your platform of choice? It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. TripleJump.gg, digital currency. You're going to buy it anyway. Subscriptions for PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo and Minecoins.
Buy it there.
You can go do that, and it supports us, and we really appreciate it. All that stuff I've just said about lists going out and streams going out, that is all changing very soon with the arrival of Ashton. So as I said at the beginning of the show, Ashton is going on holiday and also still sorting a place up in Newcastle, so there's going to be a bit of flux over the next couple of weeks.
Mate, please hit me up.
Hire Ashton to live in your house,
please.
So yes, it will be perhaps a few weeks before we are all together again in this podcast studio, so it'll likely return to Peter and I next week, but certainly the wheels are in motion to have. We're looking at 5 live streams a week, including the joint stream with all 3 of us. And lists will also be increasing in volume as well. Also some additional content and so on and so forth. We've got a Q&A video with yourself going out next week. We've recorded a rules boss that'll go out at some point. And also, of course, there was the fantastic skit in which we bidded adieu to Brian Bumpus and Dick Mychinko, and we welcomed Ashton. So go give that a watch on the channel.
And
they're kind of rude, those guys.
Well, they are.
Yeah, I mean, aren't you glad to be rid of them, right?
And of course, as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube right now, we're all together again in the office. Now, as Ben has already said, it's not that we're here now and we're going to start working as of tomorrow in the office all together forever. But once we are all back in a couple of weeks and things have settled, then, we'll be able to actually start filming things in person again, such as perhaps main menus, prove it, things like that, which we've not done on the channel for a long time. Yeah, it's all very exciting.
It is. The future's bright. The future is Ashton?
The future is Ashton.
The future's Ashton.
It's me.
There we go. Right, there we go. That's French for train station, I think.
Are you all right?
No. Let's finish it off with today's sponsor once again. Can I make much more noise with my paper while I move it? I think I can.
Should I type as well?
Yeah, go on. Just. So the sponsor this week, once again, is Stardew Valley. What? Stardew Rally, the new spin-off from Stardew Valley that features all of your favorite characters who you can't name from the base game. It's Kart Racer. It's going to be great, and it's coming to probably Switch because the Switch is the best place for that kind of stuff, and PlayStation and Xbox never get and things like that, and that's fine, I suppose. We'll just have to survive. Thank you so much for listening and watching. We will see you very soon. Thank you, Ashton, for being here.
Thank you.
You nailed it.
Well,
did great.
Thanks.
And we will see you all next time.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.